Hey there, my friends. This is Brian King, the Mindset King of themindsetking.com. Feel free to check out my site as often as you possibly can. In any case, anybody who's been following me for a while knows that I have a lot of health challenges, including MS. And as my health becomes more complicated, I seek ever-growing amounts of simplicity, if that even makes sense. Growing amounts of simplicity. In any case, the more simple things can be, the more productive I can be in the right focused areas, okay? In the areas of my passion, in the areas of my business, because things becoming more complicated life-wise doesn't necessarily mean that we have to give things up. We just have to simplify our approach to getting those things done. So I'm always on the lookout for how can I make what I do more and more simple so that it's less and less demanding upon me. And one of the things that I see people getting themselves wrapped up in a lot is thinking they need to do everything to everybody and they have to say yes to everything. And the tendency is to become overwhelmed. Well, the reality is I look for, and I often find kind of a catch-all, something that you can focus on that just by virtue of the focus, you can decrease the stress on yourself. Because it doesn't seem like you're doing 100 things. You're doing one thing maybe 100 times or even fewer times. Let me kind of cut to the chase here to give you a sense of where I'm going. There's a saying that I suspect you're familiar with, is that your life can serve as either an inspiration or a warning, meaning you can serve as an example, a role model of the kind of person that somebody is capable of being in a positive way, or you can be a warning in terms of the person or the path you don't want to be or don't want to take. And I think that there's a word that really sums up both of those paths. And it's a word that if you kind of use it as a mantra every single day, you realize that every single thing you do creates an impact beyond yourself. And that single word is helpful. That whether you are serving as an inspiration or a warning, your example is helpful. So someone can look at you and say, man, it's helpful to know that if I made that decision, I could have a similar result, and I don't want that. So I'm going to avoid that person's example. I'm not going to duplicate that person's example. Or if someone shows up and gives you help right when you need it, I see it all the time. When I have to use my wheelchair or something at the store, somebody will help me empty my cart, or somebody will simply hold a door for me. And I can say, thank you, that was so helpful. Or thank you for being so helpful. Somebody gives you simple advice on something, a little tip, and you can say, man, that was really helpful advice. Thank you so much. Or someone's being disrespectful, being a jerk, giving you an opinion that is heavily biased, maybe discriminatory, and you can think to yourself, oh, it's helpful to know that you think like this. Now, it's helpful to have your point of view on this, not because you agree with it or because you feel better, but because it reveals something about that person that maybe you didn't know at all, or is helpful to know. Because maybe if a person has very discriminatory opinions, you're not going to invite them to certain gatherings where you might have, say, a more diverse number of guests that are there. There was a time when, I'm kind of reluctantly telling you this, it just kind of popped into my head. I had a graduation party for my undergrad, and one of my brothers was at a kind of F the world place in his life, and he was actively hitting on the females there. Even though he knew they had come with their boyfriends. And one of the girls said to him, you know that I'm here with my boyfriend, don't you? And he said, well, yeah, I do know. I just don't care. And that's when I took him aside and let him know that he was my guest. He was to be respectful to everybody, or he was to leave. And fortunately, he reined it in. And he's not like that anymore. We all grow. But that was just an indication of him showing who he was deciding to be in my space. He was deciding to be disrespectful. And it was helpful to know early on that this was going to be his approach, because then I knew I needed to take specific action with him to set the boundary. And thank goodness he accepted the boundary. But it's all helpful. It's all helpful because you can take it in and you can decide or ask yourself, what am I putting out into the world? Is what I'm putting out in the world helpful in the way I want to be helpful? Or am I being or sending a message to people that, hey, see that guy over there, Brian? Yeah, don't be like him. He's not the person you want to aspire to be. Stay away. That's not the kind of help I want to put out into the world. And I'm not going to tell you what kind of help to be, because we all have our moments, right? Moments where we are less than stellar, less than our best selves, moments when we're truly human. And it's okay if you have those fragile moments. Sometimes somebody might look at you in those moments and say, man, you're being a real jerk. And that feedback is an opportunity for you to become defensive, or it's an opportunity for you to think, man, it's helpful to know that I'm coming across that way because I didn't realize just how grumpy I was, nor do I realize just to what degree I'm taking it out on those around me. So thank you for giving me that helpful feedback, because it lets me know that I need to apologize. So think of it in those terms. What everybody contributes to your life is helpful in some way. What you put out there to everyone else is helpful. Because if the bottom line is, if you're looking for a life purpose, if you're looking for a direction, it's always going to be helpful in some way, especially if you use it to grow yourself in some capacity. So that's my thoughts on this subject. Hopefully it resonates with you. If so, leave me some comment. Let me know that this has been helpful. If there's somebody else you think can benefit from this, say 10, 20, 100 people, feel free to share it with them. And don't forget that my Mindset Academy is now free for you to join. I will leave a link below this video. So feel free to come on in and enjoy the fruits that I'm leaving there for you. And until next time, this has been Brian. Thanks for being you.